Welcome to the tutorial on pointers in C. So what is a pointer? Well, a pointer is a variable whose value is the address of another variable. So how can storing the location of another variable help you out? Let's say you're passing a variable into a function, which takes in an int called num and increments it. And now we're going to create an int called num in our main function and set it to 1. Now we're going to pass this variable into our function, our increment function, and try to print this out. We're going to write get char so we can see what we print out. Now let's run this. Aha, so nothing changed. It's remained at 1. And it didn't do what we wanted. It didn't increment it. So how do we get this to work? Well, we use pointers. So how do we declare a pointer to a variable? First you write the variable and then you type in star. So now the function increment takes in a pointer to an int. And let's rename this variable pnum so we know it's a pointer. In other words, the function increment wants the location of an int. So down in the main function, how do we pass in the location of num? All you have to do is put an ampersand sign before the variable name. So this just means give me the address of num. So in the function increment, pnum is a pointer, so what we're doing is we're incrementing the address of pnum, but we want to increment the value of num, not the address. So to get the value at the address, we put a star before the pointer name. So this just means give me the value at this address. Now it will still work if we don't put brackets around the star pnum, but it's just clearer this way. So now let's see if it works. Yep, so we get a 2. This means that the original value of num has incremented. So just a refresh, let's create an integer called n and set it to 1234. And now let's create a pointer to an int. We do this by putting a star after the variable type name. So we want to set this pointer to an integer p to the location of integer n. Now let's increment n and try to see what the value at p is by putting a star before the pointer name. This is what you call dereferencing. So instead of getting 1234, we get 1235. What happens if we print out p, that is the address of n? What does it look like? So this is how addresses look like. It's just a bunch of letters and numbers. This is what you call hexadecimal, and it's just the way addresses are represented. What happens if we print out the incremented value of p? Now let me just tell you that this will increment the address by a certain number of bytes. This number of bytes is determined by the type of pointer it is. Now p is a pointer to an int, and an int is 4 bytes. So we can expect the address to be moved up by 4 bytes. And there you have it. In the next video, we're going to talk about strings, which relies on pointers. As always, thanks for watching and happy coding.